Good afternoon. Hopefully everybody is still awake. So the yellow team from Santa Clara County is pleased to present our Capstone project, the county IT profile. A big thank you to Jan, CIO from Napa County, for guiding us through this project. So this is our team, our fearless leader, Monique Lopez, who helped us focus, keep focus, keep us on track, and Dan Baldry, Joe Kuruvilla, Min Gwen, Patrick Deely, Neelam Saini, that's me, Sudeshna Chand, Premdeep Dhanoa, and Socorro Sweet. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to Dan.
Thank you. All right, so some of you have been around in CCISDA long enough to know that IT profiles has been a thing forever. There's been multiple attempts in order to kind of produce some sort of IT profile process model that we can, on a repeating basis, gather updated as-is information. It goes back to some of the first presentations. This is the as-is. What do people have today? Who can I talk to about what exists today? And so what we want to do as part of this project was to help build that. In the past, those efforts have really struggled due to a lack of resourcing and a lack of kind of repeatable process. So we really wanted to focus on that to make sure that we identify the resources and put the tools and the process in place so that this is something that can be managed and be successful going forward. And so I'm going to pass it on to Monique now to really talk about how we put this project together.
Thank you, Dan. So as Dan mentioned, there was never really a defined process for adding and maintaining content into an IT profile, so that became our deliverable. That is something that we knew that was lacking in all of the previous attempts for the IT profile process. Some of our high level requirements were, we knew it had to be easy and quick to input and extract data. Nobody wants to be, everybody has their jobs and everybody needs to be able to extract and get the data they need quickly. Also, we didn't have an allocated budget, so low to no cost for CCISDA, and also we needed some level of security on this content. The content in the profiles will have information about your platforms and things that you're using, so we needed to make sure that there was some security around that. During our project, here's a high-level look of how we went about our project, our initiation phase, getting our charter together, coming up with what we wanted to do, how were we going to do it. We didn't have a procurement phase, obviously, because there was no allocated budget for our project, and our planning process. Coming up with a business case, what lessons learned from previous attempts to do the profiles, and our execute and control phase. This was just getting the work done. We divided into groups. Some people worked on the process, some people worked on the platform, how we're going to deliver our information, and then we actually sent it off to the CCISDA board to get approval to make sure, since that this would be a process that people would be able to follow, and that we got the green light to go ahead. Then we delivered our project. Some of the challenges that we faced during our project is project resource scheduling. Even though we were all at Santa Clara County, we still had a lot of problems getting in the same room at the same time. Everybody's constantly in meetings as well. So that was some of the challenges that we came across. Also, identifying ownership of the process. Thank goodness that we took this to the board, to CCISDA, and we are very thankful to Nate Greenberg from Mono County, who will be the process owner of this IT profile. So there is a process owner. And then last but not least, if the CIOs here were in the CIO lounge, you'd notice that we had a SPOC sign-up sheet, a single point of contact sheet for you to sign up, have somebody from your county be the SPOC. Those 3 pages cost me $1,017.50 in the business center. They inadvertently charged my card at over $1,000 to print 3 pages of paper, 3 pieces of paper. So please, I urge you, if you did not, any of the CIOs out here, if you did not sign up on there, please give somebody as a SPOC on that sheet. It was an expensive sheet. I'm going to pass it on to Min, who's going to tell you about how we came about defining our process. Thank you.
Thank you, Monique. So to present the solution for the yellow team, I'm supposed to wear something yellow. But when I look at my closet, which is very messy, similar to my current application portfolio, so I couldn't find any. The most yellowish shot I can find is this one. So this is the solution from the yellow team. And moving forward. So anyway, each of us, we have application portfolio, right? Some might be messy as our closet, and some are very neat as this one. Regardless of the complication and sophistication, would it be nice if we have a profile and application portfolio that we can share so that we can look at the right people and share information, learning from each other, what needs to be done and what shouldn't be done. But the challenge for us is between what we have to do and the time we need to spend for activities like CCISDA conference. How can we have time for sharing? So our solution that the team needs to come up with is some very simple, easy to use, and fairly secure mechanism so that we can share the IT profile. And not only share, but we can also bundle with something that we need to do. So for example, with the SB 272, we need to report anyway on our applications that collect citizen data and how can we disseminate them. So our solution needs to be simple, fairly secure, easy to use, and also serve both purposes, sharing and something that we need to do, like SB 272. The tool that we need to build, we cannot have funding to build a new tool, develop, or provisioning. We need to use something that we already have, are very familiar with. So we settle for Excel from Microsoft Office, and we use something that we're very familiar with, that's email. Each of the county will have the single point of contact, or we call it the SPOC, will determine every year that what information making sense to be collected. And they will populate the information in the IT profile for their own county. And at least to begin with, we need to make sure that the information will be consistent so that it can be searchable, and it needs to be reminded and shared among others. So with that, the information will be reminded and collaborated and consolidated the data centrally. The information, after it's consolidated, will be published in a central website, and on the CCISDA, if it is not hosted there, it will have a link to the central website. With that, I'm going to hand over to Joe, who talk about the process.
Yeah, so as Min said, and this is, the features are, it's a very simple process, it's a low-cost process, and it's a flexible process. And the other thing is we have tied it to the SB 272 annual filing to make it easy for the counties to participate. There are only two roles in it. There is a CCISDA SPOC, who at every spring conference will collect the list of all the SPOCs from each county, and then send the information out to the SPOCs, who should send that information back to the CCISDA SPOC, who will compile it and send it back to the counties, and they will then publish it. I will then invite Patrick.
All right. Where's Mark Eddy from last night? Can sing us our KISS song. Underlying principle, keep it short and simple. So what did we do? We looked at ease of use. We didn't want to send out a survey with tons of questions for everybody. They have limited time. We wanted to use a familiar tool. We all use Microsoft Office. We excel at using their software. And we wanted to have limited questions. So now I'm going to turn it over to Sudeshna. We'll talk about next steps. Short and simple.
Hello, everyone. So the IT profile process owner has been identified, so it's Nate Greenberg, and his backup is Jan Estevang. And we anticipate the first annual report to go out around mid this year. Point of contact information, like Monique said, we need your support to make this happen. So please, CIOs, make sure that your list is on that list. And then phase 2 of this project, so the 2017 CCISDA credential program, they can take this to the next level, get approval from the CCISDA board, and host and expand on the CCISDA group site. And with that, I will turn over to Pradeep for Q&A. So any questions?
I really like the idea and the format. Was there any consideration to adding a level of maturity on each of these items that a county could respond with to indicate where they are in the life cycle of their particular products or focal areas?
So again, we can open, so the one that Patrick has presented, we can add additional questions to that. So if there's additional interest, we can always add to that. Again, this is just a framework, basic framework, and the next programs can build on that. So definitely, yes.
We're at in the counties on the different efforts, and then once we've established that commonality, we can take it to a different dimension for a maturity model of where we're at with them.
Hi, thank you for the very nice presentation. I love the flow chart. Did you consider or did you consult with legal in terms of what elements can be included in the survey, knowing that it will be open to other communities and it will be sent through email?
We did consult with our security team as well, just to see what they would allow us to present as far as the platform. And that's why we did need a level of security on it. So the next team that maybe want to take up this project to bring it to that next level to host it. Of course, we were thinking the CCISDA group site because everybody has a password and a login, and only the CCISDA group members can view this information. It wouldn't be out there on public. The SB 272 stuff is public, but so that's kind of where we were at with that.
But plus, every year we will determine what information needs to be collected. So we check with legal to see what information needs to be collected, and customs as well as update the list as we move forward.